Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Dish Shelter Confusion Thursday Night Hangout.
Hello, greetings and salutations, good sir. Are we alive and well? Me and you here to do the thing?
We are live. I don't know about well. Well is figurative.
I mean, I figure if we're alive, we're well. That's what I'm
There we
getting
go.
to.
Okay, yes. We are breathing. We are streaming live. I just noticed that I left the lights on in my workshop because I could see them in the background because we still haven't fixed the drywall behind me.
Oh, is that an ambient light to your lower left?
To over this right here. This
Well, there's a delay, so probably.
okay. Well, it's like you can see through the bookshelf. Anyways.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I, of course, am your host, Charlie, and I'm joined once again by the prolific comer himself, Zealeus.
It is good to see you in the ones and zeros. Hey, I can see you pointing at the drywall now.
There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, this, of course, is the Thursday Night Hangout. It's a live show where we try our best to cover the topics most important to you during the show. If at any point during the show you have any questions, comments, subjects, thoughts, opinions, by all means, drop it in the chat and we will add it to the show. If we do, unfortunately, run out of time, we will add it to the very next show. Now, let us start it off, shall we? Let's start it off with the fun fact of there was an investigation done pertaining to Meta, and it turns out that they were in possession of 82 terabytes of AI AI programming books, pirated programming books, which I have to say is pretty damn impressive because unless, it's like really glossy pages, 82 terabytes of pirated books on AI, like programming and training, that's a big number.
Yeah, it's a little bit shifty because that's how they're obviously going to train their magic AI bots.
Yes.
And it's always one of those things where if it's a little person like you or I with 82 terabytes of any material, like we'd be sent straight to jail, sent straight to jail, or huge fees and fines or something that would cripple us.
Yes.
But because it's Meta, who's now BFFs with the Trumpster, is probably nothing's going to happen because, that's how capitalism apparently works.
Yes. Apparently it's like they hit like the heavy the like the Pirate Bay equivalent of basically technical books torrent sites.
That's crazy. I mean, not surprising. I mean, I don't think anybody's absolutely surprised by this. But yeah, it's just I just can't say I'm surprised. Unfortunately.
Okay. But here's the thing that's just like that just makes me really scratch my head. Meta is like tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of money, and I'm sure that these books wouldn't have broken the bank. I mean, the sheer volume of books probably would have filled up a freaking, Barnes and Noble.
Honestly, though, if you think about getting books, it's easier to just torrent them all, right?
Yeah,
it's kind of like, you remember like the old days, not that any of us did it, the old days of like TV shows and movies and music for that matter. It's just easier to go online and just download them all.
Yep.
And it's probably the same thing with books.
Yep.
So my assumption is probably part of it is they just decided just go purchase it and call it a day, or not purchase it, but pirate it and call it a day because then we have it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Let me make sure something here. Do you hear it? Just Zealeus, do you hear it through the laptop or on the stream?
The laptop, because I only listen to you through the Google Meet.
Okay, it's probably just the internal mic on the laptop then. 'Being stupid, like usual. I'll have to get a fancy mic for that. So I'll be talking a fancy mic for the laptop and then a fancy mic for everybody else. But anywho's, the next bit of news is that the creator of a now truly famous comic book series. I'm not saying that it wasn't famous before, but thank you, Ryan Reynolds, for pushing it to the forefront for everybody. The creator of Deadpool, Rob Liefeld, has apparently had a huge falling out with Disney and Marvel.
Oh.
And this kind of stems from being slighted at the Deadpool and Wolverine premiere. Basically, he was denied access to the after party. And apparently, he also stated that basically the head honcho for the MCU movies, Kevin Feige?
Yeah.
Well, however you pronounce it. He apparently is like a total douchebag to the comic book creators. He only is interested in like the movie aspects of it, and not like, the source creator. So,
which means that Charlie absolutely loves them, because we know Charlie doesn't care about the source material whatsoever in any product ever.
Of course. Also, Liefeld also said that there was like a bunch of like publicity pictures that were taken of him and then were not added to certain like group shots. So, yeah, that's not fun at all.
I mean, you think that I get that they take a concept and then move it to, the screen.
Yeah.
So in Fine's mind, it's like his content, which I get to one extent.
Yeah.
But like at the same time, like even just recognizing, hey, like this is kind of in your back. Like it's not like you're asking. It's not like you're magically financially compensating him more or giving him a point of profit or anything. You're just like recognizing that, hey, we wouldn't be here without you in the first place.
Right.
Like nobody's gonna be like, oh, you're a lesser man for that. That's what's so irritating to me about that. Like, recognize how we built like some of these institutions we have.
Mm-hmm. So I'll be curious to see if he actually does some kind of like indie project or maybe signs with another label and creates
live pool.
Live pool. Yes. Kiddie pool.
Dead spa.
Yeah. Dead pond. Live pond. There you go.
Deaderine.
Deaderine. I don't think he had anything to do with Wolverine, though. You never know.
I'm just thinking of the mashup movies.
No, I know. But
yeah.
Anyways, he no longer works with Marvel, which then I guess technically means he doesn't work with Disney either, because Disney owns Marvel.
And with that, the bucks will continue rolling into the Disney train.
Yes, as long as Ryan Reynolds dons that sassy red mask, I think that Deadpool will still make plenty of money. Though I would be interested to see if he still would get like some sort of like royalties as being with the creator, or if he's now completely cut off from the Deadpool's like money feed.
I would hate to lose that money feed because I'm sure it was nice.
Yeah. But again, maybe he wasn't making anything to begin with.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you weren't making anything anyways, then it's like, what do you lose, I guess?
Right. So, speaking of comics or animation, though Deadpool's not animated, though there's a lot of CGI in it, there was an article the other day that I read, and I found it very interesting, and I agree with it to a huge extent. And Zealeus, I know is also an individual who watches animated shows, especially anime. So I wanted to bring this up. There was an article that basically stated that a lot of new anime that's coming out are immediately getting discounted by maybe more casual viewers because of the extremely long titles to the shows. I'm trying to think of one off the top of my head.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, speaking for myself, like I see in Crunchyroll, and it's like, how I saved a unicorn as the weakest mage alive.
Yep.
I'm like, what the fuck is this? And so, I'm totally one of those people where I see that title and I think, well, this is dumb. So, yes, I'm 100% one of those people who skips those. I did see some conversation around that.
Yeah.
And my take from it is that one of the problems you have with internet conversation runs, internet conversations around that type of content is I think it was when we talked with Craig Campbell in the past, it's the silent majority. No, the vocal minority.
Yep.
So when you get that type of content, people are like, oh no, the titles are so cool because of XYZ and they're the best ever. They might be, but really, I would argue at least, those titles need to be catering to people like me. I'm very much a casual anime watcher. Like, I've watched some stuff on, Amazon Prime, the secret level stuff. The Netflix had stuff like the Castlevania. And then you look over on Crunchyroll and things like, Record of Lotus Wars, things like Solo Leveling. But what do those all have in common? Those are all pretty well-known things, right? Like they're not just some weird random thing out of left field.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I'm a much bigger audience than your hardcore anime watchers who like, and this isn't to cast shade, but let's be honest, hardcore anime watchers pretty much are going to watch anything that comes out regardless of the title. Like that's not going to, I think at least affect their watching habits.
Right.
It's people like me who it's going to affect the watching habits. It'll be like, let's take The Witcher, right? If you called The Witcher, the old man with gray hair and the very young lady who is the weakest of them all, I'll be like, this is stupid. Like, I mean, to me, that'd be the analogy. So titles do matter to me.
Yeah, I think for the more hardcore fans, I think that the titles probably don't have as much of an effect simply because a lot of these titles are exactly the titles of the manga. And so when they just transfer over just so that there's no confusion, they just keep it. So like, for example, I just grabbed a random one that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 words long. Okay. So instead of having like, I was just watching, God darn it. What was the, oh my gosh, there was a Batman series. It was an animated series, but it was like, it was basically Bruce Wayne's replacement because Bruce Wayne was like super old. Now I can't remember what the hell the name of the thing's called. Not Robin. It was like, it's, oh my gosh, this is gonna bug me. Hold on, must look up.
Probably must go to his own version.
Batman Beyond. Batman Beyond.
Okay.
As soon as I opened up the browser, didn't even have to type it in. Batman Beyond. Okay, so you know that it's set in the Batman world, but it's a different one. But so, for example, okay, for this, however many words I said, my next life as a villainess, all routes lead to doom.
Cool, bro.
Or you've got, I'll become a villainess who goes down in history. I'm just hitting the more like this. This is why here we go. I may be a guild receptionist, but I'll solo any boss to clock out on time. Which, by the way, is phenomenal anime. It's a phenomenal anime, but dear God, is it a mouthful.
It's even to me as simple as when you're talking to friends and you want to talk about anime, it's really easy to say, yo, dude, that Castlevania anime.
Yeah.
Versus a mouthful of random words I'm not going to remember.
Here we go, Zealeus. Here's one just for you. It's right up your alley. I left my A rank party to help my former students reach the dungeon depths.
I was actually looking at that one. I remember seeing that one on Crunchyroll, and I was like, "What is this?"
You can ask my eldest son. I think he actually started watching that one.
Nice.
But yes, it's just, how about, even given the worthless appraiser class, I'm actually the strongest. That's like a common thing. It's like, I got the worst thing, but I'm actually the strongest. Is a lot of titles on the anime.
What about I am the strongest, but I have the weakest?
No, there's the I've got the weakest. I am the weakest class, but the strongest in the world, or something.
Yeah. I don't know. Isn't there a name for like that entire genre?
I don't. Well, most of it revolves around isekai, which is you get transported in a different world.
Okay. Like dot hack?
Uh,
Going way back.
no, I don't know if he's, well, dot hack, you get trapped in the game, so yes, because you can't log out. So it's not solo leveling. A lot of people would say, "Oh, solo leveling is isekai." No, that's them jumping into, because you can actually see them outside the game.
No, they choose to. Yeah, it's
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anywho, so yes, I personally think that I mean, look, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of phenomenal animes out there with just really long titles, and it's gonna turn off a lot of people. So if I had one bit of advice, I would say go talk to Studio Ghibli and figure out how they do their titles for their movies, and just shorten the damn title, because I need it. I need a little bit. I don't need the synopsis as the title. Though I did find it funny. I don't remember what the anime is off the top of my head, but there is an anime out there that's got a short title, but then the episode names are like paragraphs. It's like Sword Master, and then episode 1. The time I went adventuring and had to kill that wolf, but it turned out to, but in the end, the wolf ended up being my ally. Like, what the
That I don't mind for a title of an episode.
Yeah.
I want to be like, let's go and get Impossible Mission Force, the independent espionage agency of the United States.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, now I'll also grant though, probably most people who are on Crunchyroll anyways,
Mhm.
most of them are probably like, if you already have a Crunchyroll subscription, I might actually be the outlier in that regard.
Yeah.
Where I'm much more casual,
Mhm.
and most people who have it are probably more into it than I am, honestly. So,
Well, I'll be honest. I usually just, I go, and when I go onto like Crunchyroll, if I unfortunately choose something that doesn't have a lot of ends up not having a lot of episodes, I'll just go to more, whatever that other tab is, the
more like,
yeah, more like this, and
Yeah.
then I'll just select off of that. So that's how I end up watching the shows with the very long ass titles.
nice.
Okay. Sorry, once again, my neck is killing me, so me looking down at my notes may take me like a couple seconds, because I like literally have to like my neck
It's
down
like
and up.
no jerky movements from Charlie today.
Yeah. How about the fact that the Switch 2 price may have been leaked thanks to a Costco in Canada? One of the employees took a picture of a placeholder card that stated Nintendo Switch 2, and the price is, Zealeus, you want to take a guess?
$300.
$499.99.
I think it won't. I think it'll be a much harder sell at $500. Honestly, I know that like I totally get like things like the PS5 and the Xbox One sold at that price point when it came out, but when the Switch came out at $300, in my estimation at least, it was also easier, for instance, like for families. from a handheld perspective to be like, okay, we can get like one or two of these.
Right.
Is just, and a lot of households have multiple Switches, like not just one. Whereas, like, when you start getting that $500 price point, that really makes a difference as far as like what are you going to do for your economics as far as getting, like, now you're talking one console.
Okay. Well, I want to do a
With
caveat
500.
real quick, and that is that 499.99 price tag. If this was indeed from a Costco in Canada, we're talking about the Canadian dollar, and so
True.
that actually puts in an additional 100 on top currently. Though
Yeah.
that might change by the time the Switch 2 releases. Maybe the amount of money, the exchange rate will have.
I will say, if it's that price point, I also hope that means it comes with the OLED screen in the base model. I guess
Did
I
we
should say
actually
launch.
did we ever like confirm if there's the OLED or if it was the?
Nope, we still don't know.
Okay.
That has not been confirmed as far as I have known as of last. It could have changed in the last week, but
Right.
last time I looked, we still don't know.
I did hear that there was more information on the Joy-Cons being having some mice or mouse functionality.
I did see that. And it's interesting, and
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things where like it's like, okay, cool, because it's like it's probably not going to be like, it's not intended for me to go play, Fortnite with. But
Right.
at the same time, I could see, especially like maybe some of the more mystery or like, oh, what's that series of like mystery solving games?
Yeah.
Dr. Layton or something?
Oh, Professor Layton.
Yes, thank you, Professor Layton. Like those type of games.
Yeah. Okay.
I could see it being leveraged in a game like that. Because that is something Nintendo has done really well over the years, is like peripheral type of thing. I mean, that's what made the Wii so successful. So I say cool. I guess the only awkward thing to me is a handheld device. If I'm in my recliner or my couch or my bed, there's a good chance I don't really have any place to actually use a mouse.
Right.
Like, I guess I could use my leg, but that's kind of awkward.
Though, I mean, it would be, if the mouse functionality would be pretty cool for like some of those like point click adventure games, instead of having to basically utilize one of the analog pads to just watch the arrow slowly go across the screen. That'd be nice.
Excuse me.
But
my guess is it'll be one of those features that's like, oh, this is interesting, but I don't think it'll be really supported a lot, to be honest. Like, it'll be supported, but at the same time, just kind of there.
right.
It doesn't get used as much as maybe they thought it would. That's just kind of my assumption. I think it's kind of like we've seen with it's almost like what we've seen with VR, unless it's like a core, like that's why it worked with the Wii, right? The
Mhm.
Wiimote, like that was an integral, that was the thing with the Wii, right? Was
Right.
the motion controls. It's almost like the controller was an afterthought versus something like the VR. The VRs are always an afterthought when it comes to consoles. So that's why I'm skeptical of the mouse thing, like really having an impact on gaming on the Switch too. But no, I'm still definitely keeping a keen eye on to see what happens with the Switch 2.
Speaking of the Wii, there was a with the Wiimote, there was some games that popped up on the Wii that didn't get a lot of love and attention because you had to buy the additional like real controller to play the games instead of utilizing just the Wiimote and the nunchuck. Yeah. And I can't remember what the article was, but I think it was like hidden gems that deserve a sequel. And I want to say that the game's name was Zack and Wiki, I think. Yeah, Zack and Wiki, Quest for Barbarossa's Treasure. And I actually had that game. That was a solid game, and I do wish that they would remake it. It was a adventure. Let me see here. It's an adventure puzzle game. I was trying to get a synopsis here, but it just keeps telling me when it was first released. It's third person perspective adventure game. In each stage, the player is required to overcome obstacles by solving puzzles and advance towards a treasure chest. The player controls the action of hero Zack through the Wii remote by pointing to objects on the screen. Oh, that's true. You did do that too. Oh well. Anyways, still, it should get some love and attention. That's all I'm saying. Sorry. Side note.
Oh, yes. There's always going to be the games that we wish would be remade for us.
Now, talking about games that have been forgotten, maybe, possibly. Did you hear about what Steam is implementing for those games that are, and I'm putting in quotation marks here, currently early access, that are actually dead games?
I did not.
So Valve is now basically going to add some additional verbiage to those games that you like. If you click on it, it says early access.
Yeah.
What they're going to do is, or this is what they're saying they're going to do. I don't know if they've actually, I don't know if they've actually implemented this or not. But what they're going to do is they are going to add an additional. They're going to add a warning in the window under early access game, with all the verbiage of get instant access, of start playing, get involved with the game as it develops. But in the box below it, they're going to add a note basically stating, note, the last update made by the developers was over X amount of months ago. The information and timeline described by the developers here may no longer be up to date.
I don't think that's unreasonable, actually.
I don't think it's unreasonable, too. I think it actually helps the consumer.
I mean, I guess in a way, you could have always gone to the patch notes and looked for yourself, to be honest, because they're posted there. You can see the last time it was updated, because I've done that in the past. Because I've been like, when I see an early access game, that's actually one of the first things I look at. Like, is this game still actually updated? But having it right there in the description, like anything that benefits the consumer from a purchasing and figuring out perspective, I say go for it. So yeah.
Here we go. So so it is implemented. I just pulled up a game from this article I was reading. It's called Unsung Story. Unsung Story. And in the notes it says the last update made by the developers was over 4 years ago.
Yeah. I would say like a year is a good timeline to be like, it's basically a dead game.
Yeah.
I mean, that would kind of be you could probably argue 6 months, but I think a year is a pretty safe bet to be like, oh. And it's funny because it's like, I just pull up Unsung Heroes because you mentioned it. And it's always interesting to me when it's like still I know it's on sale, but it's an $18 game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is interesting because it's both the Windows and Mac OS game.
Mm-hmm.
And the release date was January 28th, 2020.
I think we're looking at two different games.
You said Unsung Hero, right?
No, Unsung Story.
I'm retarded.
Yeah, Unsung Story went into early access December 17th, 2020. And it hasn't been updated in 4 years.
Oh, yeah, this is even more. This was $30.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So thank you, Valve, for looking out for the consumer so we don't buy something that's no longer a thing.
I like how when they capitalize, it's a spiritual successor to Final Fantasy Tactics. Good luck with that.
Yeah, spiritual successor. Okay, so if it's a spiritual successor, here's my question for Zealeus and anyone out there who wants to answer as well. If it's a spiritual successor to a product, in your opinion, does it have to have like someone who worked on the original game as part of the team or the original property.
No, I mean, I look at more as probably maybe inspired by would be like a better verbiage in a way.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Because you see it a lot where it's like spiritual successor to a game. But what does that really mean?
Well, like the game that I helped kickstart, Uedadan Chronicles, which is a spiritual successor to Suikoden. Guess what? The guy who helped create Suikoden was one of the main pieces of making this game happen. So in my mind, that makes sense. Spiritual successor.
I would agree with that. I think you know, I buy that argument where like if you don't have original involvement of somebody from that team, then
Yeah.
how much of an actual successor is it?
Yeah.
And versus being inspired by. So like there's nothing wrong with being like we were inspired by Final Fantasy Tactics versus its spiritual successor. Because like to me, in a way, when you say spiritual successor, that's almost like a official designation. I know there's not like a body of gaming who gives it, obviously, but like it's much more official and impactful when you say spiritual successor.
Yeah.
So if you're going to go with spiritual successor, it needs to actually be like a definitive connection to that precursor game versus just being we played this game when we know it's right. Because with that
We
argument,
love this game so much we wanted to make our own version of it.
yeah, every game's a spiritual successor for another game in that case.
Let me see. Hold on. Okay, so the game was originally marketed as being under the creative direction of Yasumi Matsuno, who directed Final Fantasy Tactics.
Okay, yeah, I would definitely say that's
So there,
spiritual
now
successor.
then, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I would say that's a legal verbiage to be used. Yeah, it's interesting because you look at this game and it's like you said, 4 years ago, and then in the notes, it's like, how long to get a full game? A year and a half.
Yeah.
It's like, well, yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen.
So apparently it was started by another company, and then all of the rights and assets were bought by the company that released it on Steam in early access called Little Orbit. So at that point, it no longer was under the director's thing.
So what about this for a curveball? I know this isn't going to happen,
Yeah.
but I'm thinking of something like Kickstarter, right?
Uh-huh.
You have like basically $30 to basically almost flip it on its head, right? You have basically 30 days to meet the goal or not.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like the reverse with early access, where it's like any company, like any major corporation you work for, you're gonna have like milestones, right? Where like
Right.
I have to have, milestone A 6 months, milestone B for a year.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like if a company doesn't meet, like if a game like this doesn't meet it at a certain point, almost like drop it from the platform.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the only reason why Steam wouldn't do that is because if there was going to be an update, the page would no longer be connected. And it would have to be a brand new page. They'd have to go through all the approval stuff and whatnot. But at the same time, 4 years, there should be like, if your product has been dead for X amount of time and it's not officially released, because
official release is different. I agree with that.
Yeah. If it's fully released, then then it stays there until the owner says we're taking it down. But if it's in early access,
I think 4 years is plenty of time.
Yeah.
Like it has to be a lot of years. I totally agree with that. I think 4 years is a pretty good line in the sand. Or if your game hasn't been updated in 40 years, probably something going on. Now I'm curious. Is there any information about the game?
Not anymore.
Wait, what? Apparently there's also a Wait.
there was a Kickstarter with the original owners of the game, and then they sold everything to another company. Anywho. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to pause real quick to thank the individuals who help Alter Confusion be the Alter Confusion that you love and adore. This, of course, is the friends of the show. And so, without further ado, let us start it off with the Indie Cluster. The Indie Cluster is an organization of independent game developers that want to gain exposure by being involved in the community. They collectively journey to popular conferences as a traveling booth to help gain attention for their games. They make partnerships in local communities to bring games to the mainstream mindset. They highlight local, unusual, and rare concepts to challenge the paradigm of the common. They also host events to teach kids and minority groups about game development to hopefully one day enter the industry themselves. For more information, go to indiecluster.com. The next shout out we got to give is to the AV master himself. And that, of course, is Noodle Boy Media. Founded in 2015 by Andrew Tran, Noodle Boy Media, previously Weghead 47 Media, is your choice for professional photo shoots and panel recordings at conventions. They pride themselves in providing a high level of professionalism, top-notch experiences, and quality services. If you want more information and to view their full list of services, check out facebook.com/noodleboymedia. And somebody who I wish was actually here right now to hopefully adjust the crick in my neck in the greater Atlanta area is the Hero Chiropractic. Hero Chiropractic is a unique healthcare practice set up by Ryan Moore. The company's focus to elevate a patient's experience of freedom, creative expression, and joy. They believe that everyone can be a hero and has incredible heroic potential inside themselves waiting to be unleashed. Hero Chiropractic focuses on mobile chiropractic care in the greater Atlanta area. They are committed to healing clients by creating a plan of action uniquely suited for each person. They make that plan of action as convenient and affordable as possible, and most importantly, suited to your individual needs. For more information, go to herochiropractic.com. The next shout out we got to give is to the music maestro himself, and that, of course, is CrossPad Creative. Need a new logo or want to work on a full branding and content strategy? Or maybe you need music or audio for your content, just like Alter Confusion. CrossPad Creative offers a whole host of solutions for individuals and small businesses. Just email Josh at crosspadcreative@gmail.com and see what he can do for you. The final shout out we got to give is to the original backer on Patreon, and that, of course, is Agile Axiom. By day, Axe leads both the development team and system administration team working with satellites at NASA's Goddard campus, but while not in meetings, and many times during. He is the Agile evangelist, Agile Axe, championing the philosophy of Agile and trying to make the world a better place for software developers, testers, system admins, and software projects the world over. Decades of experience in software development and leading Agile teams are brought to bear against evil processes, inefficient work, and bad habits. For more information, go to agileaxiom.com. And if you want to check out his book that's all about Agile, Zealeus has added the link in the chat. Now, of course, at this very moment in time, I know that all of you are wondering, how do I become a friend of the show? Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is quite simple. Ladies and gentlemen, Alter Confusion survives on the love and support of fans like you, and that's why we have a Patreon page. Patreon lets you, the fans, lovers, haters, demigods, interdimensional beings, gods, demons, aliens, vampires, werewolves, swamp creatures, supporters, and more to become active participants in the work we love through a monthly membership. This gives you access to exclusive content, community, and insight into our creative process. In exchange, we gain a bit more freedom to do our best work and the stability we need to build an even stronger creative career. We currently have 2 tiers. That is the $1 tier, that's $1 a month or $12 a year. What that gets you is early access to all of our playthroughs, as well as the ability to participate in patron-only posts. If you're feeling extra frisky, you can go up to the $5 a month tier. That's $5 a month or $60 a year. What that gets you is everything at the $1, but also your name or organization added to every single Friends of the Show section of the Thursday Night Hangout. So if you want to become a patron of Alter Confusion, go to Patreon. That's patreon.com/Altered Confusion today. And I promise that we are going to be signing up for Extra Life soon, so we'll be able to give you all the shouts and whatnot on that shortly. I actually got the email reminder today, and I was going to do it, but unfortunately got pulled into some last-minute meetings, so I was unable to finalize all that jazz. Okie dokie. You can just do oh my gosh, do ! Discord, and it should give you the link. Gerard OP08. Ta-da! Shazam. And I'm pretty sure it works because somebody used it the other day.
There
All right.
we go.
All right, let's move back into the stories. Once again, sorry if takes me a second to read my own handwriting.
I figured that's just you
How
moving in
about this?
slow motion again.
So there was a game out there. I say was. It's still there. It's not like it disappeared or anything, but it's called Multiversus. And it was kind of like, from my understanding, it was kind of Smash Bro-esque, but it had like Warner Brothers characters and whatnot. First, the sad news. They are going to run their last season. I believe it's their season 5. But then they will be shutting everything down May 30th. For users out there who like the system, this is the May 30th is going to be the day that the servers die. But you can still play offline. The only caveat is if you do want to play this game in offline mode and you do not have it currently, you need to run to either the PlayStation Store, the Microsoft Store, Steam, and Epic Game Store and download it now, because when May 30th rolls around, it's going to be delisted from all of those platforms.
This game I've never heard of until now, so it must have been super awesome.
So, apparently, when the news came out that they were going to be shutting down servers May 30th of 2025, there were a collection or collective of fans who lost their ever-living minds, and they voiced their displeasure in a very threatening way. And the director of Multiversus actually came out and said, I know that this is painful for everyone, and I know every member of Player First Games, which is the developer, feels it too, but I have to call this out. You're entitled to what you say and think, but when there are threats to harm, it is crossing a line. I hope that you can take a step back and realize that this is an extremely sad time for the team. I am in deep mourning for the game. Nobody wants this outcome, and it wasn't for lack of caring or effort. Basically stating that the publisher decided to can it, not the developer. So threatening the developer is just mean-spirited.
Well, it's like most things. If you don't like a choice, by all means speak your opinion, but that doesn't mean you need to cross the line into violence. Is never, especially for something like this. As such a review should put it, it seems like it was Warner Brothers who made this decision.
Yes. Which Warner Brothers is making a decision to shut down a lot of stuff as of late. So,
well, it also sounds like there's a lot of nickel and diming microtransactions in the game, where we all know where that comes from. It's not the developers, it's the publishers. So the WBs and the higher up execs, like they tried to ring it for every money it's worth. And unfortunately, what you sometimes see is if you let a game just kind of take its natural developer-driven path, it would actually make more money in the long run because it's going to last longer because gamers enjoy the game. Versus what we do so often is that really quick short-term profit at the cost of long-term sustainability.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, don't hate on developers for not being able to do stuff, because usually, I mean, if it's developers pour their blood, sweat, and tears into a game. Now, if it's absolute shit, then go scream at the publishers.
From what I was reading in the comments, it's like people enjoyed the gameplay itself.
Yeah, and they felt betrayed that that the game was going away.
Yeah, and it's always tough
Uh,
because like you think of an online game,
mhm.
and a game like that is free to play. So obviously it's meant for people to buy microtransactions for skins and characters, however that works in the game. But you know they're there to purchase,
Right.
and now they're gone.
Yeah.
They're not coming back.
Well, I
It's
mean,
not like
this is a great example of gaming as a service.
it is. Yeah, it's a gas. Gaming as a service. But you think of another game where you could buy skins. What's a single player game where you can actually buy skins? I don't even remember off the top of my head. But like even just single player games in general, I know you love your single player games, and that's one of the reasons is
Mhm.
like the developer shuts down or publisher, and guess what? You can still play the game.
Unless they're some crazy wackadoodle stuff that requires an online always. Though I don't think I haven't seen as maybe I'm playing the correct games now, but I haven't run into one of those games that's a single player, but it's like, oh, sorry, you don't have an internet connection.
Yeah, and some do that. I think even like the Diablo, like even Blizzard games, like it's not like they're shutting down the Diablo 3 server tomorrow.
Right.
So it's like I feel like they still continue to. I mean, granted, it's because they continue to pump out seasons. Um, but I feel like there are some, as much as we like to crap on Blizzard sometimes, at least the games are still playable.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, when you're online only, especially a battle fighter type of game, that is definitely the risk you take.
Yeah. Agreed.
And then all your sweet asset money ones and zeros go. Good night.
Now, speaking of a long running online game, which I'm going to be totally honest with you, I thought had like disappeared, but apparently Ultima Online is still alive and strong after 27. It's still going 27 years later.
Is it the
Um,
OG Ultima Online, or is this like one of those fan servers?
no, old school OG Ultima Online is still going after 27 years.
Really?
But the producer, who's her name is Bonnie Armstrong, who has been the producer for 26 of those 27 years,
Wow.
is finally stepping down. She sent out a statement saying, "I am writing to all of you to inform you that I am stepping down as producer. Greg Havlush, aka Chronics, Cryronix will be taking over as producer and will drive the roadmap, all the systems, and the content in the game." She says, "I am sure all of you are curious as to why I'm stepping down as a producer. I have been the luckiest person alive to be able to work with all the players and smart, creative people I have worked with present and past, but it is time for me to enjoy some time off to work in my greenhouse, play with my puppies, and snuggle with my hubby." Good reasons.
Wow. It is fascinating because now I'm looking at the website and it's like, we were just talking about the previous game where it's like, silence for 4 years.
Yep.
And David, you're right. Ultima Online gets all these updates.
Yep.
I remember Ultima Online, I want to say it was around the same time as EverQuest. Way
Yeah.
back in the day. And like, I know people played Ultima Online, but it seemed to never quite get the love and attention of other MMOs.
Right.
Because really the first big popular one I would say was EverQuest. And then obviously it was World of Warcraft that really blew it up and kind of made the MMO genre mainstream with its ease of access. But yeah, Ultima Online's been there forever. That's just kind of crazy.
Ultima Online was there before the original Evercrack.
I bet it was. Yeah, I mean, 27 years. That's nuts.
Yeah. That was 1997, ladies and gentlemen, just in case
Wait,
you're
you
counting.
sure? I thought that was like 2010, bro. Don't be aging me like that. Yeah. No, that would have been when we were in high school. Yeah.
Yeah. A long ass time ago. That's when we were playing the original Diablo.
Did EverQuest cost money to play monthly when it was first out? I don't remember.
I think so. I think
I think
I think
so.
it was a subscription service.
And that was the thing, because back in the day, and I'm sure you were the same way. I remember because I wanted to play Evercrack when I
Mhm.
was in high school, and like my parents sometimes bought video games, but like the concept of a monthly subscription for video games was like hell no.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't until I got to actually graduated college where I could buy my own subscriptions, and that's when I started playing World of Warcraft because I
Mhm.
paid my own. But yeah, trying to explain to our parents in the late '90s on this monthly subscription was a no go.
Do you know how much mad bank we could have made and with the original Evercrack when people used to sell their digital items on eBay?
Oh, even when I was playing the OG, the actual OG vanilla WoW,
Yeah.
my Warlock, I could have sold for some major money.
Mhm.
Because I was rating like hardcore in that game. And that's like when you can actually sell stuff. I don't
Right.
really, I don't know. I know you can do boost. I know that's a big thing. I don't know if people still sell characters and loot on eBay anymore. I don't know if that's a thing. I don't know. I guess boosts have probably taken over the whole scene. Would be my assumption.
Oh,
I don't know.
I do not know.
You don't go boosting your characters, your single player games.
No. No,
Hey,
no.
can you make this puzzle for me, man?
I grind the shit out of every game, which you have no choice in the game I'm currently playing, which I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head because it's got a weird title and it's on the Switch.
Hmm.
And to be honest with you, it's there's it is not the most polished game in the world.
Is that the one you're telling me about last week where it's like you create the map as you play the game?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh no. Okay, that's a different one. This one is it's kind of in the same vein, but there's like a lot of like harvesting and crafting that you have to do. But
Nope.
then you get these like notifications of, oh, you've reached this landmark, this achievement to gain more stuff. But it doesn't tell you how to like get that more stuff that you just achieved for, completing X amount of the map
Hmm.
or doing this many puzzles. Um and it's just frustrating. It's so freaking frustrating.
That sounds
It's
kind
not
of
a
silly.
bad game, but it's wearing on me. I'll of course will have to look it up after this because I am totally blanking out on it. If you were on Twitch, you could probably pull up one of my previous streams because I think it was the last stream I did was actually this exact game. Actually, I could probably just pull it up on my phone. Come to think of it, I blame my basketball injury on my brain not working 100%.
Did it detach it
How
from
about
your
that?
neck?
The collision I took probably almost did detach certain body parts from my
That's why I
my
wear a
body.
helmet when I play basketball.
Oh, there we go. It's called Kamibako, Mythology of Cube.
That's deep.
It kind of like screams some like old school like MMORPG where you get like there is an icon above certain villagers' heads, but sometimes like it's information of, oh, you know what, I saw this guy who looked really depressed the other day that lives on the edge of town. And you're like, well, shit, okay, now I gotta go to the edge of town and find the next indicator so I could talk to that person, hopefully get a quest out of it.
No, you know me. I'm one of those. I want the big yellow exclamation mark. Tell me there's a damn quest.
um
I don't have to think
yeah,
that hard.
no,
Or
well, it's a blue thought bubble. Now there's also
mm,
white thought bubbles, but those are just people who are just going to say random crap to you that have no relevance whatsoever in the game.
or they all say the same thing to you, no matter what you ask.
Or they have an audio prompt that if you get within a certain distance of them, they're just going to say it to you. And if you get lost in a town, you have to keep walking by them. They say it over and over and over and over again.
So in Diablo 4, the main town, there's this guy who's, "Hey, Wonder, I know what you are." And he does that to you. But it's sneaky because he's a quest giver. So they do it intentionally. So I think Blizzard put him right there to require
Uh-huh.
you to take his damn side quest just to shut that mofo up. Because the same thing, every time you pass him, he yells at you, "Wonder."
Yeah. Yeah. So I've been playing that game
Nice.
too much. I
I've
need to
been feeling
play
the need.
more The Expanse. Oh, I don't know if I actually said this online live or not, but I did miraculously watch the first 3 seasons of The Expanse before they took it off Prime. So I'm up
Nice.
to date on
What
that on the sci-fi portion of The Expanse. Now I got to watch the Prime version.
What'd you think?
It was good. I hated some of the characters.
Yep.
Like some of the characters really grated on my nerves. But that's going to be what's going to happen with any show, any good show. There's going to be characters that you like, and there's characters that you want to strangle to death.
Well, it's tricky because there's two different types of characters you hate. There's the character you hate because they're Joffrey from Game of Thrones, where you hate the
Right.
person, but they're so good at being hateable.
Right.
Versus they're just the obnoxious bad person who's just dumb and you just wish they weren't on the screen.
True. I think it was more of. I think certain actors were a little bit over the top, and so I knew that they were kind of be a thorn in the side, but I was just like, you got to pluck that thorn and throw it into space, guys.
I do like, I mean, I didn't like them, but most of the bad people in Expanse, I appreciated them as a character, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were bad people, and yes, I wanted them to die a murdery death by asteroid, but at the same time, it wasn't like a bad hate. It was just you did your job.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but yeah, I will continue. I will to end this story. I will continue to watch the at least season 4 when I get a second. Binge watching the entire thing in all 3 seasons in a very short amount of time. My dreams were all kinds of wonky, and I was like I was also dealing with like a really bad cold, like almost flu, but not quite a flu. And so it was a little loopy. So watching something back to back to back to back also made my reality a little different.
Dreaming of what was that special chemical that they found?
I don't remember. You're
It was like
talking
a,
about the
it's like the weird space stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
the proto particle, or
yeah, you're probably dreaming of that
yeah, basically, yeah,
proto molecule.
proto Michael. Anyways, Zealeus, what have you been playing?
I've been feeling the need to just be mindless in my killing, so I'm playing Borderlands 2 because it's better to murder in video games instead of real life.
Touche.
Or sorry, Borderlands 3.
Oh, well, I mean,
Which
I can't wait for the 4th one to see what new stuff I'll get to kill and what weird ass weapon combinations I will unlock to wreak havoc upon an unexpected vault.
I still love the gunplay in Borderlands are still some of my favorites because you have the variety. Like you have, the shotgun, you have the sniper rifle, you have the rocket launcher, you have the pistol, you have the SMG, you have so many different types. And even in that, you have so many different types inside each subset of weapon. And you get some really cool, unique ones at times, or I guess legendary technically, that just do kind of crazy things. So I always love that. And sometimes you'll fire a legendary, you're like, oh, this looked terrible in the stats, but it's badass because of XYZ.
Yeah.
I hate the story.
What story?
I will. I don't want to give spoilers on the show, so I'll tell Charlie afterwards why. Have you played Borderlands 3?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I hate the story, but there's a very.
I've played all the Borderlands plus the first of the Telltale games, not the second one.
To do is such a common trope that I hate, but And then, so here's my thoughts though. So
Mm-hmm.
Borderlands 4, right? Here's my thing
Mhm.
though. Borderlands games, they're kind of like Warhammer games. You know, when one comes out, there's going to be like 4,800 DLCs and random shit just kind of coming out.
Yep.
So, you know me, I'm a wait until the golden box edition comes out 4 years later because it has like 5 years later. I'm finally playing Borderlands 3 with the gold edition.
Yep.
So, not just Borderlands in general, but does like knowing there's gonna be like 18 expansions coming out, does that affect your purchasing at all? Or are you just like, whatever, it's a great game, I'm gonna get it?
It depends. Knowing Gearbox's like track record of how when they release the DLC, I don't know if I would. I might hold off until the first DLC. But at the same time, the the way they've done the DLC in the past, it's not like you have to have them all.
Sure.
So I may get I might pick and choose.
That is true, because they're usually very side content. It's not like
Yeah.
they're part of the story, kind of like the characters, but like other DLCs are like story heavy, whereas you're right.
Yep.
The DLCs for Borderlands have always they're almost like side dungeons in a way.
Yep.
More than
Yep.
else. Yeah, I agree with
It's like
that.
this secret dungeon that just opened up. That's Lovecraftian themed. That will give you an additional, 4 hours of gameplay.
True. Yeah.
Then yeah, I'll probably, to be honest with you, I probably, if I'm around and I see the we've just released, I'm probably will get it close to, probably not day one, but it will be probably close.
Yeah, I saw the trailer, like the actual launch trailer came out today. I don't know if you saw it, but it looks like there's jetpacks now of some sort. Or like a grappling hook, maybe. Basically more vertical movement is what it looks like.
Well, we'll have to see.
I mean, it looks like the same great gameplay, like as far as core gunplay, which is what we play Borderlands for, and the wonderful PC and family-friendly humor.
Yes. The joys.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody, and she was like, I was telling her, it's like, yeah, playing Borderlands. Like, can my kid play that? I'm like, how old? 11? No. Bad idea. Like, that's definitely a high school game.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah. Anywho. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I need to put some ice on my neck because it's still hurting, even after taking pain pills. Hooray! But so we're gonna wrap it up for this one.
More pain pills than alcohol, sir.
No. All right.
Maybe
so, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everyone for tuning in to the Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout. For myself, Charlie, and Zealeus. It's been a pleasure giving it come our heads, our mouths, and of course, our hearts. We'll be back next Thursday for another Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout.
Remember, kids, keep on gaming in the free world.
Amen to that, brother.